Hello everybody, Rainfeather here, and this is my 100 subscriber special, and it's my second time filming it. I had just gone 46 minutes filming this whole thing, and my computer crashed on me, like completely, just, and the file just died, so I could not use the file, so I'm filming it again, so it's going to be a lot shorter than 46 minutes, because I'm pretty sure my computer cannot handle filming that much right now, apparently. So it's going to be fairly quick paced, and I apologize if I don't seem super bubbly, and I will have to explain everything all over again. Fun. Okay. So, this video is going to be how I got into the fandom, why I'm in the fandom, and it's going to be a lot of information about my fursuits, because I love my fursuits. All three of them. And you say, oh, three, you say. You can't see the other one that's sitting off camera. So we're going to go ahead and start with the fursuit that really started it all for me. This is Kiki, as you've seen with her back there. This is her very first version. This is version 1.0 of Kiki. She was done with a plastic canvas base and upholstery foam. As you can see, she's very, very much falling apart now, with her ears getting ready to fall off and her fur coming apart. But I made her when I was in high school. Now, I started being a part of the fandom when I was probably about junior high. I drew animals a lot as a kid, especially Rainfeather here, who is my personal persona. Like, she is my persona, she is me, all the way around through. Or, it's not even English, all the way around through. She is my Sona. Yes, Kiki is a Sona of mine, or character. She's my fursuit, essentially. She is the very first fursuit I've ever made, very first fursuit I've ever worn. I made her when I started high school, so the fursuit itself is probably about 8 years old now, going on 9. I retired her because she was falling apart and was becoming in very much disrepair from a lot of wearing. Now, where I live, it does get very, very hot. So, being made mostly out of hot glue and foam, it doesn't really work out all that much. Due to my lack of a mic, I'm probably not going to be putting too many of these on, especially her. When I did my first filming of her, I did put her on, but she's incredibly uncomfortable to wear, and with as much as she's falling apart, I don't want to do any more damage to this fursuit. A couple things, if you might have noticed with this fursuit, is they're just flat eyes painted on top of plastic canvas, which the paint is peeling. It is acrylic paint. Not my best idea when I made her. Oh, if you guys are wondering about the balaclava, I forgot. I also talked about that in the first filming. I'm wearing the balaclava because a lot of jobs, a lot of companies frown upon you being in social media or being in a certain group or a fandom on social media, as it could hurt the company, because if you work at the company, you become part of the face of the company, yada yada yada, legal stuff like that. So this is to protect my current job, my current job status, as well as to prevent my getting new jobs from getting hurt. Meaning, I don't want to hurt my chances for getting another job if I have to, nor do I want to get myself fired or let go for being in a furry-oriented video or just videos in general. So, going back to the fursuit. When I had started making this fursuit, or started being part of the furry fandom, is because I drew a lot of animals when I was growing up, and some kids, other people that I had gone to school with, other peers, had come up and been like, hey, you draw a lot of animals, or are you in the furry fandom, or do you want to be in the furry fandom? You should be in the furry fandom type deal. It's like, you draw some decent art. Of course, back then, drawing some decent art is stuff on my computer. Drawing decent art is like, hey, look, I can draw because someone said my stuff looked good. Like, one person said your art looked good, so hey, you're an artist now. At least that's how it was for me when I was growing up. But I'd gotten the furry fandom, drawing some artwork, and whatnot, and I'd done more research towards my high school year as to what the furry fandom was, and, what they do. I ended up finding out the conventions were a thing, and that fursuits were a thing. Fursuits were a big thing in the convention. A lot bigger now than what they used to be, you know, back almost 10 years ago. So, like, they're a lot more common, and there's a lot more of them. Like, a lot more of them. Like, I was just at BLFC 2019 this year, and the amount of fursuiters there was astronomical. There were so many, I'd never seen it. Like, I want to go to Anthrocon, because Anthrocon is, or, not Anthrocon, well, between Anthrocon and MFF, Midwest Fur Fest, they're both, like, twice the size of BLFC. So, I'm excited to eventually go to one of those and just see, oh, excuse me, sorry, I'm, like, trying not to hiccup at the same time, it's just, but I really want to go, because that's going to be something, like, really special for me, trying to see the amount of fursuiters there. There's probably going to be, like, you know, thousands of fursuiters compared to, you know, a few hundred or 8,000 fursuiters. It's going to, like, just blow my mind going to one of these bigger conventions. So, after doing some research, I started building Kiki version 1.0. I had her, she will be 8 or 9 this year. I had her up until 2015. Well, I mean, I still have her, but I wore her up until 2015 when I made Kiki version 2.0. 2.0, I actually made I finished her. I finished making her, like, the day right before I was supposed to drive out with a friend to BLFC. My very first furry convention, BLFC 2015. So, let me go ahead and scoot that one over. She's got a story of her own later. Okay. Since I have one of these. The other one I kind of just yeeted across the bed. Paws. These were made with 2.0. The original 1.0 paws have long since been retired because they were falling apart. And these, the pads, were actually made out of cloth and hot glue. These ones are made out of Dream Vision Creations silicone paw pads. I like yeeted that thing way over there. Okay, so this is Kiki 2.0. She's got a fully articulated jaw, just like version 1 had, although version 1's jaw does not work anymore due to the degradation of the foam. This one, she still has a fully articulated jaw, and I don't know, you could probably see it in the back, or like right here on my finger, the wire to the fan. Which that wire shouldn't be hanging down that low. Did it unglue itself again? I think it did. She needs some repairs on herself. She's 4 years old now, this year. But as you can see, she's got Follow Me eyes, of which I hand-painted with 7 different kinds of various blues and purple paints, ranging anywhere from a glitter to a metallic to a light blue. I think one of these was glow-in-the-dark, but you don't really see it. Yeah, a couple of changes from the first design to the second one, aside from being on a Dream Vision Creations resin base. She's got silicone nose, silicone tongue, resin teeth. She has a fan in the nose where the old one didn't have it. That's actually one of the reasons I started making her, is because it was just getting too warm to wear my other one. There was, like, no ventilation in my old fursuit. So I started working on her. I got the fan in the nose, and with this one, the front chest piece is actually very, very long, and she has shoulder caps. The reason behind this is because the fur that I had made her with was discontinued quite some years ago. So discontinued even before I finished version 2. With that, I wanted, like, okay, well, I can't do a full fursuit, even though that was actually the original idea for this character. I didn't have the money back in high school. I was getting allowance from my parents. It's like, hey, I should have asked my Mom, Dad, can I have some extra money for some fursuit and stuff? That wouldn't have worked out by then. My folks, when I started saying, hey, I wanted to be a furry, were kind of like, nah. And that's because they were still listening to, like, the social media, like your CSI and stuff like that. So they had seen, you know, the over-exaggerated misconceptions of some of the furry fandoms. Can't say it's a misconception. So some of the sexual stuff, yes, does exist. You have extremes on both sides. You have the extreme, yeah, the sexual stuff is like the big thing. You have those people. They tend to be the loudest in the furry fandom, just saying. Even though they are the smallest portion of the fandom, that extreme. They just happen to be the loudest. Then you have the other extreme, way over here, which is full-on deny it ever existed. You can't deny that it ever existed because, yes, it does exist in the fandom. The sexual stuff exists literally everywhere. In the furry fandom, the My Little Pony fandom, the anime fandom, your superhero stuff. I mean, you go to Comic-Con, you see a scantily dressed Poison Ivy. Like, you know, bra and panties, that's literally all she's wearing. It's covered in, you know, vines and stuff. So you can't say that it doesn't exist in the fandom because it does. It's just not everybody, nor is it always very extreme. Your extreme people are way over there. If you're into that, just go say hi to the extreme people. They're the loudest ones, so they'll definitely say hi back. Not that that's so much a bad thing. As long as you're not hurting anybody, not breaking any rules, I don't care. But I digress. I completely forgot what I was talking about initially. Oh, yeah. So I couldn't ask my folks for any, like, you know, money for the fursuits and stuff like that because I was like, okay, well, my parents have already stated that they're not too big in the fandom. They don't really want me to be in the fandom. So, being the little rebel that I am, decided, okay, with what money I have, I'll buy what fur I can, make a fursuit based off of that. So that's how I made version 1. After having version 1 for about 2 years, and showing my family more of the fandom, like videos from Kijani Lion and stuff like that, like the fursuiting for the children videos and the charity stuff, the charity live streams, the charity, you know, all the stuff that the furries have done for charity, have done for kids, shown, you know, how good the fandom can be despite some of its more toxic minority stuff going on in the background, like the drama, the sexual stuff like that. After showing my family the good portion of the fandom, they opened up a little bit more to it. It's like, okay, yeah, this is kind of neat. You actually made a costume. And for not having any training aside from a couple of YouTube videos, that costume was actually pretty impressive to my parents, to myself, and to quite a few other people that have never seen me make anything like that. So about 4 or 5 years after having that fursuit, I'm like, okay, well, I need to make a new one. I need to, you know, I need one that holds up better to the extreme heat, that ventilates better, and stuff like that. So that's when I made Kiki 2.0. I did the fan, I did Dream Vision Creation bases, because I still at the time was not very good at making bases. Okay. So, while I was making her, I was also making another fursuit at the time. If I have a picture of it, I'll put it up there. But it's a fursuit that I made a good long while ago. So I'm still very new to the sculpting, still very new to it myself to this day, but I no longer make fursuits for other people. Yes, I'm still making one, but it's been an ongoing project for like 2 years. A lot of stuff has been going on, getting in the way, and I'm also not the best with time and working. I procrastinated all throughout high school, and I still kind of procrastinate in other things. I got better at it through college. Kind of had to. You don't pay for high school, you pay for college. So I did get better when I was in college, but yeah, I still kind of, yeah. Let's not just get into that right now. That's actually mostly it's been because I have like a full-time job and stuff like that. But yes, a little bit of procrastination here and there because that is just, I need to stop. That's a bad habit. Which is why it took her about a year to get made. It's because procrastination, and on top of that I also had schoolwork and stuff like that. But I got her finished like the day before I drove out to BLFC. Her and the other suit. So they were both going up to BLFC, which was pretty fun, being my first convention and all that. And I had done, was it 3 other BLFCs? 4 last year, or this year. So technically she's been through 4 different BLFCs. She is 4 years old herself. She's starting to get into a bit of disrepair, and that's because of age, that's because of doing a lot of fursuit games like musical chairs of death, as I like to call them, and a lot of people that have played musical chairs, especially at BLFC for the last 4 years, will definitely know what I mean by musical chairs of death. And if anyone from BLFC watching this video has played in the games, watched the games, please just say in the comments how brutal it is, so, you know, my viewers aren't believing just me, they can see from other people. Yeah, those games are very brutal. So it has taken a heavy toll on this fursuit, as has the heat, the cold. This fursuit has been through a lot of different weather. She's been through rain, she's been through snow, very, very high winds. This fursuit has been through a lot. So because her fur was discontinued some years ago, I can't make the proper repairs, nor can I make a full suit of her like I wanted to. That's part of the reason why she's got such a full front neck piece, is it's because you zip up the jacket part way, you see a lot of chest fur, or with some of my other pictures, as I'll be showing up here, like the corsets and the dresses and some other stuff that I've worn, you'll see a lot of fur just like right here. This video is going a lot quicker than the last one because I'm not rambling half as much as I did in the last one. So maybe it's a good thing my computer died after 46 minutes. But yeah, as I stated, she is getting old and she's starting to kind of show her age, fall apart a little bit, first thinning out in a couple places. That does lead to this girl's story. This year, while I was at BLSC, I came across the Lemon Brat table. Now, I've been wanting to get a professional made suit from a maker for quite some time. Mostly because I don't make suits too much myself anymore, having a full-time job and everything like that. But I had really wanted to get a fur suit made from somebody. And I'd come across the pre-made suits that Lemon Brat's selling. You know, I've already really liked Lemon Brat stuff and had contemplated getting commissions from them. With Rain Feather here, I will not make her fursuit, but I will get her commission in the future. You'll see a video from that whenever that does happen, because that'll be a really big thing. But Lemon Brat had been one of the makers that I had been considering, still am, especially now after owning one of their fursuits. I really love the quality of their stuff and the fact that you can wear glasses underneath it. Not wearing the glasses right now because breathing the balaclava, it fogs up the glasses and it's just no fun. See, that's the rambling I had in the first videos. Lots of just innate rambling. So, I'm going to bring her over here. This is Glacier. She is camera focus. Did I just break my camera? There we go. This is Glacier. She is what Lemon Brat was selling as the Glow Bat. Now, if you notice these spikes right here between my fingers, I wouldn't necessarily consider a full bat, but more of a, like a dragon bat hybrid. She's got some, like, really big spikes. I always thought of her as, like, a dragon bat, like, not just a full bat with his teeth. But my father had actually, my mom and my dad, my father and my mother, I had actually brought them to BLFC last year. Now, because they had become a lot more open with the fandom and is like more accepting of the fandom, more accepting of the fact that I was a fursuiter, especially not making one, but 3 suits. 2 of my personal suits, 1 for somebody else, technically 4 or 5 if you count the unfinished duck that I was working on. It's supposed to be a dog, looked like a duck, and I just kind of gave up on it. Yeah, I don't want to get into that one either. And then the one that I'm currently working on for another person. But they've become a lot more open into the fandom, and they're like, hey, why don't you take us to one of your furry conventions? So I'm like, sure. I was a little nervous at taking them just because the furry fandom can be very high energy and very high energy. Both my parents are very old school, so yeah. Furries with parents that know that they're furries, like old school parents, know what I'm talking about when I say they're old school. Meaning a lot of the furry stuff or stuff that furries do did not exist back, you know, when they were our age. So there's some things at these furry conventions that might shock them a little bit. Maybe not so much in the good way, but I'm like, okay, well, I mean, you guys have been perfectly fine with me doing this for the last X amount of years, so sure, we can all go to the convention together. So we did, and my folks actually enjoyed it. They liked seeing all the characters, taking pictures, seeing me take pictures with all the characters, and like the different games and events I had. So that led to this year, and I'll actually post a picture up on the corner somewhere. I did for last year design my parents both personas. My mom has actually changed her persona as of this year, and is looking at getting a actual fursuit made by a really good maker for it. She was trying to get a fursuit done this year for this convention, and kind of got scammed. I say scammed with some quotes because they gave her refund, but they had said, oh yeah, no, we're good, we can make this, we can get it done by this date, the date that it's supposed to ship, oh, sorry, we didn't make it. So, scammed. She did get her money back, though, so it wasn't a full-on scam, but it did tarnish a bit of her desire to go to the convention because she did not have a fursuit to go to the convention with. And again, I'll post pictures of their Sonas here because I do have a few of them in my computer. But when I had gone this year, again, I took my parents and had come across the Lemon Brat table and seen all the fursuits, and I fell in love with this Globat, of which I named her Glacier. Now, the color of the Globat, because I'm guessing the blue at one point was supposed to glow in blacklight, but mildly. This green color, it shows up beige on my camera. It looks beige just in general. It's actually a lime green. They call it lime cuddle in the actual sheet that they gave me. Apparently glows really super good under blacklight, so that I have not had the chance to go see her under blacklight. Never got to go to any of the raves at BLFC this year, as much as I'd love to. It's just timing. And I was horribly, horribly afflicted with allergies this year. Allergies or some type of con crud? No clue. It may have been con crud because my mom ended up getting it right after we got back from the convention, so can't be entirely sure on that one. So I never did get to go to prove whether or not she glows. But when we had gone to the table, I'd fallen in love with the bat, and my dad actually got me my fursuit. And I am still very grateful, very thankful my dad got me the fursuit. Hi, Dad! Love you! Thank you for the fursuit. So he did give me the fursuit and whatnot, and she's actually going to be my primary fursuit for a while, and I might actually save up money to get her done as a full suit. Because they do have the option when you buy a Lemon Brat partial, a pre-made one, you can actually, they put prices in for you. How much does it cost to turn your partial into a full suit? How much does it cost for each piece to get it turned in there? You can also do kiguramis, you can do backpacks and stuff like that. They had a whole list of stuff in here, like pajamas, kiguramis. I have the packet sitting right here for reference, but I'm terrible at videos like this. You can also change certain aspects of it. You can add magnetic eyelids to change the characters' faces. You can change the paw types. You can do a lot of stuff with it. And you can also change the character's design. You do not have to stick the design they gave you. So with this character, the Globat, it has the lime green stars on the back. Because I named her Glacier, I actually wanted to change those stars to snowflakes, which actually kind of goes with my mom's fursuit, or not fursuit, but her character, soon-to-be fursuit, again, which will be posted somewhere around here. I haven't done a decent editing video for a good long while. But I really fell in love with Lemon Brat's suit. Now that I have one, they are actually one of my considerations for getting a commission done of Rainfeather. Now, actually 3 big reasons why. The field of view. Amazing field of view, and I can wear my glasses inside the suit. Whereas my other 2, the ones I made, you can't wear glasses inside, as much as I've tried. Number 2, she's got a ton of ventilation. Like, a ton. Between the eyes and the really open mouth. It's not too difficult to breathe in here. And 3, very well made. Holds up together very well. Craftsmanship on Lemon Brat stuff is amazing. So, I mean, there is, and like I said, I love their upgrade options where you can upgrade it, change the design a little bit. If you do change the design, it will change the price, more than likely to be higher. Changing my stars to snowflakes, I cannot say if that's going to be more expensive or not, just because, yes, there's already stuff on the back, and the snowflakes should be staying the same size. The only difference is snowflakes have a little bit more intricate design than stars do. So yeah, there's that. Since I didn't put my other 2 fursuits on, I will put this one on, just to kind of show it, because you guys haven't seen her at all on this channel. This is the first time anyone's seen her. So I'm going to go ahead and put her on, and I'll show you this packet so you can see what the wings look like. The wings have that little design on it. And she doesn't have the swirls in her ears from what the packet shows, if you can see. I mean, I think it's... Yeah, no, they don't have the swirls in there. For a second, I thought it was in stitching, and then I looked at it, it's like, yeah, no, it's not even the stitching. But I'm going to take my headphones off, throw my glasses on, put her on. You probably won't be able to hear me. I'll probably talk. You probably won't be able to hear me. We'll find out. I'm gonna save my Patreon money to get up like an actual mic, like a Yeti mic or something. So we'll see in editing if you can hear me from over here. And you can probably see that, yes, I'm talking by moving my head. Don't know if you can actually hear me, though. It's like a... Oh, my glasses are dirty. Yikes, 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 yikes. I'm just going to slip her on. I'm not going to fasten the back. So I don't know if you can hear me, but I do have a wide range of vision on here, and there's a lot of ventilation. So I don't get too hot. And she's got these beautiful, ginormous ears that are very stiff ears. But this is going to be my primary fursuit, at least for a good long while. Well, definitely for a good long while. She's meant to replace Kiki, not as, you know, a character, but Kiki's going to be more of a specifically a photography fursuit. Mostly just because of how much she's falling apart. She can't really do a lot of the games or any of the really big events anymore, just because of me not having the right materials to fix her anymore. Hello! As you can see, though, there is a lot of like head and neck movement that I can do. Stay. There we go. So as you can see with that fursuit, there's a lot of like head and neck movement that I could do with that particular suit, which actually makes that one really, it increases again the visibility. Like the more that you can move your head from side to side, look around, the more you can see. I couldn't do that too much with Kiki 2.0 or 1.0 either, because 1.0 had a fairly long neckline or a neck piece, and 2.0 has a really long front piece. So when I had them underneath clothing, underneath jackets, it made it like really hard to turn. I can only kind of do this or do that, whereas with Glacier I can do full side-to-side head movement. So, I mean, there's quite a few reasons why she's actually going to be more on this channel now. Kiki will still show in some videos, because I'm not doing big outings with her anymore after this year. I'll do like Renaissance Fair and a couple of smaller conventions, but I probably won't wear her except for the fursuit photo on like BLFC, Anthrocon, stuff like that, just because of how old she is and the fact I don't have that fur, that spotted beige fur anymore, to be able to do any repairs. So, enough about the fursuits. More about the fandom, I suppose. So yes, I have been in the fandom for almost 10 years. Technically, I've been in the fandom longer than that without even knowing it, but I hadn't officially called myself a furry until probably my freshman year in high school, when I finally figured out what they were. But I have been in the fandom for a very long time. I've seen it change, I've seen things get better, I've seen things get worse. Noticed a lot of drama, but again, that's just kind of everywhere nowadays. I fell in love with the fandom when I actually started getting into it. I grew up kind of a shy kid, having been bullied through kindergarten, first grade, you know, those very impressionable years. I was bullied a lot, mostly in first grade, so I got homeschooled for second and third by my grandfather, and then they eventually put me into a charter school for 4th through 9th grade, and I stayed there for a while. I did not get along with kids very well. Especially in 4th grade, I got in trouble, you know, throwing pebbles at cars and a chair at a kid. I did not trust kids. I did not like people back then. I was a little terror growing up just because I had a lot of just anger, I guess. I wasn't, you know, I wasn't very socialized growing up just because I just didn't get along with the other kids. Going through high school and junior high, I got a lot better, like, a lot better. I got friends, like, lots of friends and stuff like that. But I didn't, well, I say lots of friends. I had new friends every year. I'd lose friends one year, get new ones the next, stuff like that. But I stayed social enough in very small groups. I was still incredibly shy. I could not get up in front of a class and talk. I couldn't. Before I found the fandom, like, if I'd never found the furry fandom, me being in front of a camera on YouTube would not have been a thing whatsoever. Being in the fandom has actually helped me open up a lot and get rid of a good portion of my social anxiety in large groups. So I've done a lot better talking to large groups of people or standing up in front of groups like college classes and stuff like that and talking. Still don't really like it too much, but, you know, if I have to, I will, and I'm a lot better with it. I can go comfortably, I can talk to a group of about 24 if I have to deal with, like, you know, a lot more than, you know, 24 people at any point in time. I do get a little anxious, but it's a lot better than what it had been when I was a kid, or when I was younger. So the furry fandom, finding people to open up to talk to find things in common with, has actually made it a lot better for me. Being in fursuit and socializing with other people, whether I'm pantomiming or, in the case of these last 3-4 years, I've actually been talking in fursuit, because a lot of times, especially since I've been going to the conventions, I've been fursuiting by myself. So, being fursuiting without a handler, not recommended unless you're, like, you know, a professional. I'm not necessarily a professional, but I've been doing it for a while. So I've had to fursuit by myself quite often. So when I fursuit by myself, I do talk to people because I need to communicate to some way because I don't have anyone else that can communicate for me that understands my pantomiming. So if I'm with, like, say, my mom or my dad or something like that, I will not talk in fursuit. Just because it's part of the old rules, the old school rules of fursuiting, whereas you don't talk in fursuit. That, again, I've been in this fandom for a very long time. I've noticed over the years that rule has slowly started to vanish. People are talking more and more in fursuit, especially they don't like the term popufur, so I just call them celebufurs, your celebrity furries, like your, not telephone. Telephone still doesn't talk in suit. At least not in her telephone suit. I know she does have another fursuit. I just don't know which one it is. But I do know she has another fursuit, and I do believe she does talk in the other fursuit. But, like, a lot of the other ones, like Majira, Biogods, who I think is Owl the Wolf, Fjord Frost, who's now Quartz Husky. Again, you have all these celebrity furries who now talk in fursuit quite frequently, Odin Wolf, stuff like that. It's that rule of not talking in fursuit seems to be vanishing more and more as these YouTubers, these furry YouTubers, start popping up here and there more frequently. Like, you know, who was the other one? The Australian girl. Picariru. You got Picariru, and you have, like, again, it's like, I'm just, like, naming off random celebrity furries that I watch, that I know other people watch, that talk in fursuit, whether or not the fursuit has an articulated jaw. So, within these last 3 years, again, having fursuited by myself now, talking in fursuit because of, you know, not having anyone else around me, I don't necessarily follow that old school rule of not talking in fursuit anymore. It just, honestly, I think it helps get more character, more personality to the character, because then you can make up a voice for them. Like with Telephone, she doesn't talk, but she makes a lot of noise. She chirps, churs, purrs, tweets, and all sorts of other stuff. Having some type of vocalization in these characters, whether it's speaking or just noise, does add to a lot of the characters, which is what I do with these ones. I honestly have no idea where I was going with that, but yeah, hey, that's how I fursuit this. I do talk in fursuit. If you noticed with Kiki, I've never given her a voice on this channel, at least I don't think I ever have, and she's always been a silent fursuit. Well, if you ever do come across me in Kiki or in Glacier, more than likely, if you go to communicate with me, I will talk back. If you're just posing for a photo or doing a quick video, I won't talk or make any noise unless it's like a squeak or a purr or something like that. I do some squeaks, some chirps in both suits. Mostly for kids. I don't talking first around kids, mostly because they don't have an articulate, well, she does have an articulate jaw, but she doesn't. So when I'm taking pictures with kids or stuff like that, I'll do squeaks and chirps, but I won't do any physical vocalization talking, just because for a lot of kids that does break the magic. But if, you know, any random YouTube person that sees me here, or any person just in general sees me at the con, it's like, hey, come over, say hi, talk to me. I will strike up a conversation with you, even if I am in suit. So I think that's where I was going with that. I don't know, half the stuff that I'm going with on this video, I have no clue. But I'm starting to get to that. I have like 10 minutes before my computer crashes. So, yeah, that's been my general introduction to the fandom. I don't make fursuits anymore for, you know, other people. I am making more personally for myself in the future, like working on a Sorghel and a dragon and stuff like that. Trying to get my duchy made. I either want to get my duchy made by someone else or make my duchy. I'm still back and forth. I'm probably going to get my duchy commissioned. Again, I'll post pictures here and there as I'm talking, stuff like that. I do still do artwork on commission, so if anyone's interested, I'll probably throw my DeviantArt somewhere around here, or my Patreon, something. Even my Discord. I'll put my Discord up here. I mean, my Discord's Rainfeather, so I mean, if you just want to look me up, something like that. But, yeah, this has been my 100 subscriber video, and more about me, why I'm in the fandom, and about my fursuits, stuff like that. It's just a random about me video, so yay! I hope that's an okay video for 100 subs. I couldn't figure out any ideas, and I've already had to film this one other time, so I'm like, most of the rambling's out of the way. I still ramble here and there, like I'm rambling right now. Hi, I hope you guys like the rambling. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I should be posting videos more often. As you've seen, I did do a live stream recently. I do have kind of a, as you can see, a changed background over here. I do have filming equipment now in a different location, and my scheduling has changed to where I do have more time to be able to do videos, so I will hopefully get this all set up more frequently, more often, to get more videos out for you guys, even with a full-time job. I cannot anymore, as I had done in the past, I cannot promise videos out on any time, I just can't promise I'm going to get videos out on a schedule, or just in general. I will try to get as many out as I can. I am in the process of editing and working on a really large BLFC 2019 video. There's hardly any actual filming, it's more of a picture slideshow, and I will be doing it to the music of the BLFC 2018 disc from last year. That was made by Foxes and Peppers, or Peppers and Coyotes, or something like that. I'm bad with the names of these bands, but it is made by furries, a furry band in the fandom, or a furry singer. So I'll be using that music for the backdrop of the music and stuff like that, as I did with my BLFC 2018 video, but now it's a slideshow. Excuse me, goodness, these hiccups. Now it's a slideshow, not a video. But it's a video of pictures, you know what I mean. It's not filmed, there's nothing filmed, just because I didn't really have the equipment to do it this year. Something else that I'm going to be saving my Patreon money up for is getting better equipment. Alright, so now for a proper outro. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!